Hey investors, today we're going to be talking about Sundial, one of my favorite companies this week, which is why I haven't really shaved at all. I own this stock myself, so take any of this as just propaganda, really. But anyways, this is why I think Sundial may or may not be a good decision for you this month. Anyways, so basically it's heavily shorted, as we can see right here. Currently, the short volume out on the market right now is 29%. So basically, 30% of all the shares that are currently out on the market are short, which means if you don't know what short selling is, there's a video on this channel about it very recently as well. But basically, it means that somebody's selling shares that they don't own, they borrow to sell to somebody else. 30% of the market is short. We don't know, at least from these pages that are public, what the actual short prices were, but it is guessed that they are roughly in the 60-cent range on average. This is just stuff that I've randomly read on the internet, on StockTwits and things like that. So who knows if any of that is true, but either way, there's 30% of the shares short. That's not good for the shorts, because I think this is going to run some. So as we can see here, when we go over to Sundial Growers, we have seen yesterday the actual volume of trading was over 2.1 billion shares in a single day. Today was almost a billion shares. 987 million shares traded, and check that out. All those shares, and it literally did not move hardly at all. It went down 1.2%. Now from there, when we start really looking at the chart, it gets very, very interesting. So basically, if you want to max out the chart, even though 5 years technically a max on this thing, as you can see, it's gone from $13 a share high, $13.20, and that was really just at the end of the Canadian marijuana boom. If you don't know what that is, it was just basically when Canada legalized weed. And then it slowly went down because Ontario and Canada, they realized it wasn't all that big of a market because, yeah, you know, we're like the size of California when it comes to population. So, like, yeah. Anyways, so now more and more states are starting to legalize weed. And from there, it's starting to go up. Now, with the Biden administration in, the Democrats really want to legalize weed. And I don't blame them. It's really not as bad of a drug as it is thought to be. And it can help a lot of people. For myself, I take CBD oil for my knees, which is why I invest in marijuana companies, because I believe in them in the future. I currently hold 400 shares long of Sundial, and I have had them back in that 50-cent range. I was not expecting this kind of a crazy jump. Could have sold, but I'm not, and this is why. So there's this big, massive trade called the GameStop trade. It's a whole bunch of crazy people. No, they're not crazy. They're very smart, very ridiculously smart. They are kicking the crap out of all of these short sellers like crazy. All the hedge funds are going to burn like crazy. And this is why. So basically, they have figured out, people online, and myself now, have figured out that there's a lot of short sellers on the market. I didn't know there was this many. GameStop has over more of the shares shorted than are actually on, like, available to buy, which is just absolutely ridiculously crazy if you think about it. And Sundial has 30%. So, like, it's still crazy if you think about it. So basically what they've figured out is if we can push the price higher, we now force the short sellers to buy back their shares at a higher price, or their brokers, or just anybody who really just wants their short shares back and not want to gain interest on them, or if they just can't. It's a long story what short selling is. If you don't know what it is, definitely go check my video out. I hope I mention it somewhere on this video, maybe down in the description or something. But anyways, it's a really long story, but I think that there could be a potential short squeeze if this continues to get wider. And I'm saying this because Robinhood and a couple of other trading brokerages have basically stopped a lot of the trading when it comes to these stocks. And yesterday was the total halt. Like, you cannot buy, you can only sell, which I think is market manipulation, but that's just my own personal opinion and many others. And also, now they say, okay, well, you can buy 1 share of GameStop, and then you can buy 1,200 shares of Sundial, which just like 80 cents a share, so, like, not much. And from there, basically, they are maybe doing manipulation to help hedge fund buddies, or maybe they just almost went broke and almost went burned into hell from like not having money to cover all this stuff. But either way, something happened and Robinhood's in a lot of trouble. But either way, if those traders who are ticked off at Robinhood right now move on to other platforms that don't limit your trades, then within a couple of days, I'm assuming, at least by Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, they're going to be on other platforms, and they're going to be mad. So that maybe that $300 that they never spent because of Robinhood may now backfire, and now they're going to say, well, I did have $300 to put in there, but you know what? I'm ticked at these hedge fund guys. I'm ticked at these C-suite guys. I'm ticked at everybody. I'm going to turn my $300. I'm going to be asking buddies for money. I don't care. I'm going to be putting $10,000. I don't care. I'm going to put my whole life savings into it. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen with Sundial. I think that's going to happen with a lot of stocks next week. But when it comes to Sundial, that was the story yesterday, which would have been January 28th. And that was the story there for a lot of trades. Aurora was another one. Sundial was one. GameStop, AMC, there's been a ton. Now, is it a good investment? If you're looking to hold it long term, like I was thinking a good 1 to 2 year play on this thing, because I've learned from the Canadian market, because I played it up here, it's basically there's going to be a lot of talking in Washington. They're going to say, oh yeah, maybe we should make a bill to do it, blah, blah, blah. It's going to take a little bit of a spike, then it's going to trade off. And then they're going to come out and say, well, you know what? We're going to have a bill go through and we're going to see how it goes. We're going to take votes and see what happens, and it's going to spike again. Now what's going to happen is either it gets sent to the Senate or they have to reform the bill. And if it gets reformed the bill, it's going to dip again. And then it's going to be up for election again, and it's going to go up, and it's just going to be a nice big wave. You can buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. Literally, I was day trading in Canada with marijuana stocks a couple of years ago when Trudeau became our prime minister. Thank you, Trudeau. There's not much I say that's good about you, but you made me a good amount of money. And that is how I was going to play Sundial and a couple of others like Aurora. However, with all of this extra volume, personally, I'm playing it with call options. That way I'm not outputting or putting out a lot of money for a big gain. I was in it anyways. Why not add an extra couple $100 to call options? I think I've got like $400 and $500-ish out there American right now of call options for the February 19th and March 19th call options. Anyways, I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. That's my thoughts on the whole thing. And let me know your comments, your suggestions, your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'll see you guys again next time.